And tonight, a conservation group is offering to provide a new home for the 43 monkeys that escaped from a research facility in the Lowcountry last week. About 24 of the animals were recaptured over the weekend and returned to the Alpha Genesis facility, which breeds the monkeys to sell to medical and other researchers. Meanwhile, Born Free USA releasing a statement tonight saying that the monkeys are vulnerable with no experience of living outside of their captive environment. They go on to invite Alpha Genesis to allow the monkeys to live out their days in safety. Tonight, there's been no official response from that research facility.
Well, 2024 is shaping up to be one of the hottest years on record. According to Europe's climate change service, it is virtually certain that global temperatures will be 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. So nearly all the countries in the world have pledged to keep global warming below that threshold in the Paris Agreement. Scientists have warned that at that level, the climate crisis begins to exceed the ability of humans and nature to adapt.
Stuck on the ship? Nowhere to go.
A holiday with an itinerary thrown overboard. Steve and Karen Demitzel are among 111 Australians stuck on Spectrum of the Seas.
It's beautiful here, but we would love to get off.
Moored in Yokohama, Japan, for what Royal Caribbean Cruises calls unplanned maintenance. It was supposed to leave here 2 days ago.
What's unplanned maintenance? It's a nice word for saying something's broken down.
Their passports are with the crew. They're not allowed off.
They won't allow us onto the Japanese land. I mean, it's weird because in the last 16 days we've been on Japanese land on 5 different occasions.
The 7-day cruise began in Shanghai last weekend, stopping at Japanese ports Kobe, Osaka and Yokohama. It was meant to return to Shanghai tomorrow. Instead, it won't get there until Monday, 2 days late, wiping out travel plans for thousands on board.
They don't give us enough information though, and they blame Royal Caribbean, saying that it's being handled by head office, and therefore due to US time, there's a time lapse as well.
The company offers $600 per passenger to rebook disrupted travel. The Demitzels say that won't cover their costs, but they have insurance. For now, they're in good spirits in more ways than one.
Lucky we have a bar tab.
Blake Johnson, 7
New
News.
at 6, the Disney Treasure cruise ship comes to the rescue of 4 people stranded on a sinking catamaran more than 200 miles off the coast of Bermuda. The Coast Guard received their distress call this morning and issued a broadcast. The closest vessel was the Disney Treasure, about 80 miles away. The ship launched a small boat and safely rescued everyone on board a little more than an hour later. Disney says the brand new Treasure was on its first transatlantic voyage, sailing from the Netherlands to its home port in Canaveral, Florida.
Now, some viewers may find this story disturbing. A car plowed through a crowd in the southern Chinese city of Zhuhai, killing at least 35 people and injuring 43 others. The deadly incident comes at a time when the Chinese city is hosting a massive air show. Participants are from many countries, including the US, and the security was a top priority. There are several unanswered questions given the scale of the attack and that it is reportedly perpetrated by a single person. Reports suggest a 62-year-old man was detained at the scene after he drove his car into people exercising at Zhuhai Sports Center late on Monday. These are the images of chaotic scenes on the road outside the sports complex following the hit-and-run incident. People can be seen rushing to assist the wounded who are lying on the road. In another video doing rounds on social media, police can be seen arriving at the spot. Police say the accused is undergoing treatment after he injured himself with a knife in his car. Pre-investigation suggests the accused was going through a divorce, which might have triggered him. In a relatively rare move, President Xi Jinping has demanded severe punishment for the perpetrator. The Chinese central government has dispatched a team to provide guidance on handling the case. The incident came to light on a day Zhuhai is hosting China's biggest annual air show, where a new stealth fighter jet was displayed for the first time. Violent crime is rare in China due to tight security and strict gun laws. However, a rising reports of violent attacks in large cities has drawn public attention to safety in public spaces or places. In September, a bus crashed into a group of students and parents outside a school in the eastern province of Shandong, killing at least 11 people. The same month, A 10-year-old Japanese boy was stabbed to death while on his way to school in the southern Chinese city of Shenzhen. In October, on the eve of the 75th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China, 3 people were killed and 15 others were injured in a knife attack at a supermarket in Shanghai.
هي عمتي وجوزها وها أولادهم 4 شباب وها بي وأمي وأخواتي البنات 2 وها عمي ومرته وأولادي كلهم هيون هون الشهداء كلهم. أنا فقدت أهلي وعائلتي كلها بهالمجزرة اللي صار ببرا وهيوم مثل ما شايف يعني هو أمي وبي وأخواتي وعمومتي كلهم راحوا استشهدوا.
واغفر لها وارحمها واغفر لنا وارحمنا.
أزمة صارت التنام من شهر وشوي اللي بعدها بيومين كده. والله الصراحة كان مش راضيين يفلوا بس من الوضع بيتنا عشان قاعد فيه وهيك اضطروا يفلوا وقالوا بركة إنه هونيك أأمن بيكون بس خلص نصيبهم الله كاتب لهم إنه يستشهدوا هونيك.
أنا معجبية ترى قلبي عليهم يا ريت ومش بيقربونيش. ولاد خالتي هو ولاد خالتي الصبية شو دخلون هن؟ شو دخلون هون؟ اللي هو مقاومة هودي حزب الله اللي
بنته يا عباس بنته ولا مرته؟ بنته فاطمه.
Turning now to Israel, the nation is still reeling after Muslims targeted and attacked Jews following a soccer match in Amsterdam. Israel's new foreign minister helped evacuate thousands of its citizens from the city. On his return, Gideon Sa'ar said his country is battling a level of anti-Semitism not seen since World War II. CBN's Julie Stahl reports.
This wave of anti-Semitism we see right now is focused on, I call it new anti-Semitism, focused on the denial of the right of Israel to exist as a Jewish state, focused on the denial of the right of Israel to self-defense.
Special evacuation flights brought 2,000 Israelis home over the weekend after the Amsterdam attacks. Part of that is due to Jews being denied rights like self-defense, which the UN grants to all nations.
When we are talking about the country that is most attacked in the world, most threatened in the world, with other UN state members like Iran speaking publicly and deliberately about eliminating it. But this country is attacked with an effort to deny its right to self-defense.
Sa'ar is calling on all nations to stand up and make Jewish communities secure, much like Germany did a year ago when it criminalized the Palestinian chant, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." Palestine will be free.
To take care of incitement against Jews and against the state of Israel as the only Jewish state in the world, and to combat seriously phenomenon of new anti-Semitism with all its expressions.
Following meetings with leaders in the Netherlands, Sa'ar believes they understand the challenge.
We discussed different ideas, how to deal with it, what to do, and I'm sure that will take place in European level.
As for the war in Lebanon, Sa'ar says there's been progress on a ceasefire agreement, which must include Hezbollah's total disarmament with no ability to regain strength.
Even if we will reach to an agreement, the most important thing will be not the words in an agreement with Lebanon, but the enforcement and the willingness and the decisiveness.
He adds, while bringing security to Israel, it would also benefit the Lebanese people.
We will assure that Hezbollah will not be a threat to Israel. But the international community can assure the future of Lebanon as a free country, a sovereign country, not enforced to be an Iranian proxy, which I'm sure that the majority of the citizens of Lebanon don't want to be.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Thank you, Julie. Gordon, back over to you.
Well, you can just feel the heaviness as he's speaking that, you know, you've got to wonder why in the world does he still have to point this out to the world community? Here we are in 2024. It's a year after the horrible attack of October 7th, and you have to go through the exercise of pointing it out. And it does seem to just be crazy, where truth has been turned upside down. That chant, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, we have heard on the streets of New York. We have heard in our college campuses. We have heard that again and again in this election season. And it's just a mystery to me that the entire nation didn't stand up and say, no, not on our watch. You don't get to chant that in our streets. I am a full proponent of free speech. But that speech in particular needs to be called out for what it is. It's a call for genocide. It's a call to kill every single Jew in Israel and wipe Israel off the map. Let us realize what it really means. Let us stand against it and stand for the truth of this matter. Hamas started this horrible war. Hamas was the government of Gaza. Hezbollah has seized control of Lebanon, is using southern Lebanon as a military base to launch rockets against Israel. Of course, Israel has a right to defend itself. Of course, it has a right to strike back and not just sit there and take it. It has to take out the rocket launchers. It has to take out Hamas. It has to free its hostages. The entire world should get behind this and say no to this radical Islamic terrorism. It's a death cult where they prefer to die in jihad rather than live in peace with their neighbors. Let's recognize it for what it is. It is evil, and let's call it for what it is. Let's stand with Israel in her time of need. Let's continue to support her with everything that we have so that this truth, this wonderful land that's been a light to the nations, they've done so many wonderful things for all humanity. Let's stand with her in her time of need.
The Russian Air Force has stepped up long-range precision attacks on Ukraine by putting to use the Grom E-1 missiles. Now, these missiles targets so far have been civilians. The missile struck a school and an apartment building in the Bernard and the Kherson regions, respectively, in February and March. In August, another Grom E-1 exploded in Kharkiv. Most recently, on October 29th, a bombing raid involving guided bombs and at least one Grom E-1 blew up a medical facility and other buildings in Kharkiv, including an historic structure that was under UNESCO protection. The Grom E-1 missile has a launch mass of 594 kg, length of 4.2 meters, a body diameter of 0.31 meters, and a wingspan of 1.9 meters. The missile features a 315 kg high explosive fragmentation warhead coupled with an impact infuse. It uses two-stage propulsion comprising booster and sustainer rocket motors. The missile can be released from an altitude of 500 to 12,000 meters and at a speed of 140 to 445 meters per second. It can strike targets at a distance of 10 to 120 kilometers. Because of the aerodynamic lift from its wings, Grom E-1 can engage its targets from any direction, even turning around 180 degrees to strike the target from the rear.